Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Welcome, welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. Brown girls are beautiful. Y'all, I have been struggling, okay, with the past couple of weeks of trying to get this live stream going. As you all know, I missed out on yesterday, which was Friday. But this right here is going to be my F Your Feelings Friday, okay? I don't care. Okay, because this whole weekend is going to be F Your Feelings Friday. It's here. We are live and direct. So, what I would like to say is that everyone that's listening to the sound of my voice, under the sound of my voice, I hope you all are having a wonderful and positive weekend this weekend. It started off a little treacherous for us over here on the East Coast because we had torrential winds and tornadic activity. Some people lost power and things like that, but we definitely need to give thanks that we're all here, we are alive, and we're safe and sound. So, thank you so much for that. We are definitely going to delve into Leave the World Behind. Shout out to Knowledge Seeker that requested this live stream. What I should have done is sent him an invitation to this link. I don't even know what's going on right now, Knowledge Seeker, but I do know that you did post a video earlier, and I haven't had a chance to actually tap into your video to watch it. Now, I do want to talk about this movie, even though I was supposed to talk about it weeks ago. Leave the World Behind puts me in mind of a number of things. A lot of these movies we have seen already. If anybody recalls 2012, it's kind of similar to that because basically there was some activity going on with like a, what do you want to call it? Like a major scare for the world. 2012, I believe that was the movie with The Rock, if I'm not mistaken. And what ended up happening is there was a big crack in the Earth's crust, I believe. Kind of like what happened when the tectonic plates moved and Pangea started formulating different continents, if that is the correct way that we um, arrived at the continents that we're on right now. So that put me in mind of that. Also it reminded me of iRobot. So what they're basically telling us is that eventually there is going to be a major event taking place. Now, with all that being said, should we panic? There's nothing we can do about it. If we're up against unnatural forces, all we can do is pray and just come together in unity, y'all. So, without any further ado, I am going to go ahead and turn on my camera. All right. Shout out to everybody out there. I want to say thank you and hi to my new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for enjoying my content, sharing my content, and watching my content, liking and commenting. I appreciate you all. Um, Now, I don't know if I'm able to actually play any contents of the movie because I did watch it on Netflix, much like everyone else did. So, what I am going to do is just going to go over my notes because I did take some notes about this movie here a couple of weeks back when I watched it. And I want to actually explore and delve a little bit deeper into what I gathered out of what we watched. Now, I do know, or did hear, that this movie was funded by the Obamas, which I find that quite ironic. Um, but nonetheless, we're still going to talk about it. So, oh, I have so much, y'all, that I want to get into. Project Bluebeam, Operation Bluebird. Um, I will be talking more about DJ Envy and the real estate stuff. We have some Hassan clips going on. Kamala Harris. Did y'all know she was trying to make a 10-hour school day? Yeah, because she was saying she was trying to help out the parents in order to help cut daycare costs. Now, do teachers look like a free daycare and babysitter? I think they do enough for the pay that they receive, and it's quite frankly, it's not enough. All right. Where are my notes? I should have had these pulled up earlier. Let's click on this right here. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I still need to talk about Puffy, TD Jakes. Y'all, it's so many things. I found my notes, by the way. It's so many things that I want to delve into. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and pull it up here because if I pull it up on my phone, I can pull it up here. All right. So, one thing I did notice, all right, if you watch the movie and maybe I can play some clips on my phone. Let me pull up Netflix on my phone, y'all. I just had it. Okay. So Julia Roberts, right? Julia Roberts is actually one of the main characters in this movie. Now, let me put my notes back up to what I want to say. Okay. Some people may take offense to it, but it's just what it is. It is what they call Caucasian privilege. Okay. She basically embodied the exemplary mindset of what they call Caucasian privilege. Why do I say that? She was very condescending in how she was speaking to the young lady, the young melanated lady in the movie. I like that girl too, the young girl, that melanated guy's daughter. I really liked her because she was very witty. She was extremely intelligent and she was quick. You know what I'm saying? Quick thinking. I like that. So basically, she set Julia Roberts straight and let her know what it was. Okay. All right. Now let me find my notes here. If I found them here. Okay. Another thing that I did notice too is that this was a stupid thing to do. What man? So, okay. The melanated guy in the movie, he did something that I did not agree with. Like, he actually left his daughter with strangers to go help a stranger. I don't know what parent does that, but I don't think that was a good idea. So I highly disagree with that. Highly disagree with that. Let's see. Kamala Harris. Let's see. Click on. Trying to see where should I go from my notes. Okay. January 3rd, I believe. All right, so let me keep going. My notes are, oh, here they are. Okay, my notes are right here. Okay, and let's keep going, keep going, keep going. It was so many stuff. It was so much stuff that happened in this movie. So I'm basically going to try to kind of break down my interpretation of what I got out of it. Okay. Now let's rewind this movie back a little bit. Okay. Let's rewind this movie back. So basically what you have are the is the family going on vacation. They decide to go on vacation, and the reason they decide to go on vacation is because they work so much. Okay, now we can factor in that being that much of America is stuck in this corporate plantation, we all can agree that many people do work a lot and probably too much. I'm actually going to try to sign into my laptop as well and see if I can pull up a couple of these scenes. I will probably won't be able to play it because I know how funny they are with stuff like this. If I can remember how to log into my account, y'all. Let me see. I don't want to lock myself out. Okay, so I don't remember my password to get into Netflix because it just comes up for me on my phone because it's already locked in some type of way. So let me see if I can do it through Safari because Safari has the little thing where it remembers all your stuff. So that's why I use that a lot. hmm as I thought. I need to keep like a notebook of all my stuff, all of my freaking passwords, but it just be so much, y'all. Okay, I found it. Found it, y'all. Okay, so let's just do it this way. And then they probably will not let me play it on two different devices. Oh, hold on. I didn't know the trailer was going to pop up. Hold up, y'all. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I wish it would shut up. Nobody is asking for all of that. See, that stuff is irritating and aggravating. Sometimes when you just are trying to do something, they have to always be all extra. Oh, yeah, they go Cat Williams, World War III. Speaking of World War III, do you already know that they have World War III planned? I spoke about it on this channel, and actually I could pull it up for you. If you look this up, World War III is already planned. Yes, it is, y'all. So, yeah, get ready for that. That's another thing that I wrote in my notes that I wanted to start speaking on. Here we go. It is coming up. I will try to share my screen. All right. So, okay, we're back in business. All right, let me go because I have to switch tabs now. So that's the thing. It's going to make me switch tabs, and I didn't want to have to switch tabs, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. Okay. All right. So let's see. We're going to share the screen, share, share, and go to which window? We're going to Netflix. Okay. And then we're going to hit share. Okay. There's sharing. All right. We're in business. All right. So now that we have that pulled up, make sure you can see it on the screen. You know what? They might have a block on it. They might have a block on it, y'all. Let me see what it says. Let me pull this up bigger so I can see for myself. Oh, yeah. I don't know if they're going to let me share it. All right, let's just see. Let me toggle back and okay. All right, I'm going to mute it. I don't think it's going to work though. I'm pretty sure Netflix has put something on here to block it from being shared. Yep. Yep. Yeah, they're not going to let me share it. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to move on. Okay. Let me stop sharing and I'll just pull it up. I'll pull it up on my phone, y'all. Oh, I got some messages in the building. Sorry, y'all. I didn't even see it. Knowledge Seeker, what's good? Okay. How are you doing? You are in the building. Okay. You said hello, Queen. So many good topics. Thank you so much. We are dusting off the cobwebs tonight. Yes, we are. I know I love the young melanated lady in the movie. I did too. Okay, all the worlds in history are planned. Yes, they are. The copyright with next Netflix is brutal. Yes, it is. So they won't let me play it. So what I have to do is pull it up on my phone and then hold it up to the hold it up to the camera, y'all. Okay, so basically, Leave the World Behind starts off with Julia Roberts, her husband, and her two children. And she decides that she wants to go on a family vacation because, like I said, most of America is always doing the same thing. They're stuck on the corporate plantation, always working, never spending time with their family. So, what is this movie teaching us? This movie is teaching us that we really do need to leave the world behind. And as a matter of fact, I've already left the world behind, if you really want to be honest, because y'all, once I started learning about the truth about a whole lot of stuff, a lot of stuff didn't make any sense anymore. And I used to sit at my desk while I was working. And the more I would listen into knowledge and information and watch documentaries and videos, the more and more I just felt like taking that freaking computer, the headphones, and everything and just throwing it out the window and smashing it to death. You know what I'm saying? So I'll show you some clips on here on the phone. And so, all right, what you're going to see here, let me see if it'll zoom in. All right, so let me disconnect this. What you're going to see, all right, this is them on vacation, y'all. Okay, so they did make it on vacation. Oh, there you go. Trying to make sure it shows up here. So that's her. So she got her husband to agree to go on vacation. And while they are on vacation, in the distance, they see a ship coming in, right? They're out on the beach. They see a ship coming in. Everybody is looking up. and they're paying attention to the ship, which actually comes up on the beach unexpectedly. So that's what's going on. Yeah, Julia Roberts, she still looks the same. She's kind of, aging gracefully because she still looks like herself. She still has that red hair. Now, what happens next? Okay. So these people right here, you see this guy? I don't know if y'all can see this. My camera, hopefully it'll zoom in. This guy right here. Let's see. This guy right here, he is actually, let me see if I can turn the sound up. This guy right here is renting out his Airbnb to the Caucasian family. And what ended up happening is the guy shows up to the doorstep that's renting out his Airbnb to the Caucasian family, but the Caucasian family is getting a little fearful, a little scared. They're like, "Why is this guy showing up out of nowhere?" And then Julia Roberts is basically being kind of like racist, like in her demeanor and stuff. Like she is very judgmental. And actually, I can say for safety reasons, I would probably feel very leery too if I'm vacationing with my family and a guy shows up out of nowhere in the middle of the night asking to stay at the Airbnb. But it was her sarcasm. It was the condescending nature and the way that she was acting the entire time, which I did not appreciate that at all. She played the part very well, by the way. He said this is our house.
Sorry? This is our house. The George you emailed back and forth. No, I remember the name. This is your house. I'm sorry. You think you come inside? Oh yeah, hey, sure. Come on in.
All right. So the reason that he's showing up is because I think there's some type of storm going on or some type of thing going on, and he had to come back to the house, which is a very elegant house, very upscale neighborhood. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Knowledge seeker, you said you left the world behind in 2016. Good for you. Okay, good for you. And I'm still leaving it behind. You said you woke up in 2016. Congratulations. I am so proud of you. Mahershala Ali did fantastic. That's her name. Okay. Yes, she sure did. The melanated father is the actor. Oh, okay. That's his name. Okay. Yeah, he did a good job. All right. So moving on. Let me see. I took some notes. Let me go ahead and give it to my notes here. What did I say about this movie, y'all? Okay. So moving further along, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already watched it by now. Okay. I don't want to give too much of it away, but like he's there with his daughter. Okay. He shows up with his daughter. They were out at some elegant event. Somehow they leave the mother behind. I don't know how that actually happened, but this is him and his daughter. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, but that's him and his daughter. And so as they're in the house, Julia Roberts is going off on her husband about how can you let these people stay here? We still, don't really know if this is really his house. But the guy proved that it was his house because he had the key to the liquor cabinet. The liquor cabinet was locked, so no one could get into it. So he was basically showing and demonstrating that, hey, I feel very comfortable in this house. I know my house. This is my stash of whiskey and liquor and fine wines and things of such. Do you mind if I fix myself a drink? So that's what he did. Okay, so the husband that's on vacation allowed them to stay there, even though they were technically supposed to be renting their Airbnb out to this Caucasian family. All right, so moving along, y'all. What it's a lot of strange things that starts to take place here. A lot of uncertainty is going on.
And what about your husband? Clay is a professor at City College, English and Media Studies. You know, I've had plenty of friends major in media studies, but I never know what it means. And you, what is it that you do? Me, I'm still figuring my shit out, trying not to rush into anything. the last thing that I want is to be sucked into a career that I regret 10 years from now, by which point I will be trapped by the pressure to stay the course because I'll be too old to enter the workforce. You know what I mean? Good morning.
All right. So she just said a mouthful right there. And I thought that was very clever of her, because that's what happens to a lot of people. They get trapped into the workforce, right? The next thing you know, they get older and then they feel like they're too old to switch their career path because they've come too far. They feel like, oh, I have my benefits. Maybe I'll get to retire soon. Everything is weighing on their jobs at this point. They have children. Sometimes the children are about to go off to college. They have so much riding on these jobs that it's hard for them to see their way out. So that's what I love when she said that. And then the father comes in, he says, good morning, or whatever, like that. Okay. You said you watched the movie just to see if you missed any hidden messages. Okay. All right, let's move along here. Um, so I thought it was very interesting how what's this man's name? I can't think of his name. Him right here. So he goes out into town, right? And he sees a Spanish lady, and the Spanish lady is trying to say something to him, but because of her chaotic behavior, she's acting erratic. He leaves her behind. Okay, leave the world behind. He left her basically stranded. She did not have a ride. And when you translate what she said in Spanish, she was trying to warn him, but he didn't know what she was saying. And I actually, um, I thought I had written down what she said in Spanish. Okay. So this is him going down the road. All the strange stuff starts happening, y'all. Also, they're saying something about a cyber attack. We've already had things attacking us, by way of like, think about it like the banks. Think about every time the banks get breached and they send out a notification saying that your personal data has been breached. We're going to send you out another debit card, or someone hacked into just recently someone hacked into the healthcare system, and basically they said that your health information has possibly been breached or leaked, and so therefore um, then they give you a whole list of your options of what you can do. I remember one year it was another company that said that people had hacked into their database, and so for the next 3 to 5 years they would allow us to have free credit monitoring services because our information could have been compromised or exposed. So this type of stuff goes on a lot, even with your top tier Fortune 500 companies. So this is nothing new. This is something that has been going on. People are still hacking into the database, hacking into the systems, y'all. And they can try or attempt to implant or put bugs in the system to basically mess up a lot of what's going on. And if you recall, I think the internet wasn't working. A lot of the stuff was not properly working. So already you see that they're starting to have like a chaotic way of life because they don't have the comforts of their lifestyle. So let's keep going, y'all. All right. So now what I thought was very ironic, what I thought was extremely ironic is the fact that they didn't seem to be there didn't seem to be too many people around them. They seem to be kind of isolated. They made this very eerie. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is a scene right here where you're going to see where there looks like a plane crashed. Does that remind you of something? Remember 9/11, right? That was pre planned. And I could get into 9/11 too. But they actually took one of the videos down that I watched back in 2015 about the whole 9/11 situation, about how that was all planned and orchestrated. And really, I don't even believe that any planes crashed into the building, y'all. I think that was um, orchestrated. I think that was a Hollywood production to make it look like planes crashed into the Twin Towers. Actually, those buildings were detonated, and I've spoken about that already on the channel. All right, so let's keep going, y'all.
A while ago, before all this happened,
Okay.
I looked at the market and I knew something was coming.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yes.
In my line of work, you have to understand the patterns that govern the world. You have to learn how to read the curve. You spend as long as I have doing it, it can help you see the future. Hold steady. Progress is harmony. It inches up or down, you know that means something.
Teach?
Right. So we definitely do have to talk about 9/11 one day, because they will try to repeat that. I've been calling out 9/11 for over 5 years. Government inside job. Yes, it was. It was. They also worked with oh, where was that guy from? He was from the Middle East somewhere, but he was actually on top, on the rooftop across from the whole thing with binoculars watching it happen. And he celebrated as the buildings went down. Also, another thing, if you pay attention to 9/11, I don't know if they've already stripped the internet, but a lot of the survivors, a lot of the witnesses that were out there that were interviewed ended up missing. There was also someone that was supposed to be testifying, and they came on camera saying that I do not wish to commit suicide. If anything happens to me, I want to live. I'm just making a record of this. Don't you know? This person ended up DEAD, y'all. Okay. A lot of government files, a lot of documents were destroyed in 9/11, and that was done purposely. Also, this was also a way to defraud the insurance companies, because what took place is that um, I worked for an insurance company, and in the policy, it stipulated after 9/11, 9/11 was the cause of this. If, do you all know, I don't know if every insurance company operates this way, but if your car is hit by a bomb, if your car is involved in an act of terror, it is not covered. Your insurance company is not going to cover that. And this was all as a result of 9/11, because what happened with 9/11 is it made a couple of people became billionaires, but it bankrupted. It caused some insurance companies to be bankrupt, because they already had pre-planned this, so they knew it was going to happen. This was a get rich scheme and a payday for a lot of people that knew about this, prior to it happening. Some people were forewarned not to go to work. Okay, I do have a friend of mine back then. We went to high school together, and he was telling me that one of the melanated girls was warned by a Middle Eastern guy, and he told her not to go to work that day. I believe she worked in the building in one of the Twin Towers, you all. YouTube removed the video, but two Black women who survived said it felt like bombs were generated. Yes. So a lot of people in 9/11 said that what they heard was something that sounded like a train. And the reason for that, you all, is because when the buildings were constructed back in 1971, or back in the 70s, 77, I believe, they actually were built with detonation devices under the ground underneath them. This is so that whenever they needed to bring down the buildings, they would do so in a fashion that will allow the buildings to collapse upon themselves. So, what you witnessed is the same thing that they do in Vegas. Vegas reconstructs a lot of their casinos, and the way they do this is by way of detonation. Detonation devices allows the buildings to fall straight down, so that it does not cause too much of a disaster and around the vicinity of the building, so that that it implodes upon itself. So this is the same thing that happened in New York with the Twin Towers. It was done deliberately that way in case they wanted to bring the buildings down. Also, if you pay attention, everyone already is aware that the CIA owns a lot of the media, and the CIA actually writes for The Simpsons. So therefore, when you see the Simpsons predicting a lot of things that takes place, this is because it's already been pre-planned. So they predicted that Trump would be president. They predicted that there would be a bomb, um, basically orchestrated for the Twin Towers, and that did happen. Actually, the first attempt to bring down the Twin Towers was back in the 90s, but it was not successful and it failed. The the towers, the Twin Towers were made so steady, with thousands of pounds of steel. You have to understand how strong that is. They were, because I watched the documentary on when they actually built the Twin Towers, and they actually, I don't know if you can go back and see it, but it's on YouTube somewhere, where they will let you know that the way that they made the buildings was so sturdy that even those buildings were made to withstand a tornado or a hurricane, so that the buildings would not just tumble over or get weak. So there's no way that a plane crashed into something that strong. Okay, that's not possible. They even had scientists to come on talking about it, and basically, it's not possible that the jet fuel was so hot that it melted steel. That just did not take place. How is it? How is it, right? That when you go back and look at the footage, I think the American flag, they said, was still standing. Now, I feel like this was a way for them to, what do you call it? Sensationalize the situation at hand, basically. All right. Unfortunately, there were a lot of innocent people that did, come to their demise from 9/11. So it is not anything to take lightly. There were a lot of innocent people that actually jumped out of the building, because it would have been better for them to jump than for them to stay in burning flames, getting burned alive. Okay. And there's video footage where you can clearly see people jumping down out of those buildings, out of the windows, because they just could not tolerate the heat anymore. It really like hurts my heart thinking about it at this point, because I remember seeing that footage, y'all. I remember exactly where I was when I heard about it. And I kept seeing that, and all they kept playing was, and I'm getting off topic right now talking about it, but I'm talking about it because it's just that they orchestrate so much. And it's so sad that the government will actually allow innocent people to succumb to their demise, just to orchestrate whatever agenda they want to carry out, and also to implement laws and rules that has nothing to do with what they say that it has to do with. Like, this is when they said that when you get on a plane, you're not allowed to take liquids. Well, what does a liquid have to do with so-called terrorists that came on the plane, they said, with box cutters? You see how it doesn't make sense, right? Box cutters and liquid. You can't have anything more than 3 ounces on the plane. You can't take batteries. You can't take this. You have to get scanned. You have to get checked. If you have a laptop, any of these devices has to be put in a separate conveyor belt whenever you go through, to get checked to get on a plane. Like, all of this is really an invasion of your privacy. And this is a way for you to give up some of your civil rights. This is just a way for them to, inflict scare tactics amongst people. They had us looking at a lot of foreigners, a lot of Middle Eastern people, like terrorists. And then, yeah, so, and then what I could never understand is, like, how is it that all the people on one plane would allow, I think they said, 6 people with box cutters to take over the plane? You mean you all didn't fight for your lives? Didn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense now. But Michael Myers actually had a video called Fahrenheit 9/11, and so you can actually probably go to Netflix, or you can probably find it on YouTube somewhere. Also, if you watch In Plain Sight, that's how I started learning about 9/11, and that's when I started realizing that things were not what we thought they were. And I started my awakening process around 2011 into 2013. What really, really did it for me is when I watched Hidden Colors. Shout out to my friend that introduced me to that, y'all. So these movies, um, they don't really surprise me too much. This movie right here, Leave the World Behind. Let me just go through some of my notes and, because I don't want to play too many clips of it. Now, I will talk about the Teslas, the robots, the attack on humans. Everybody saw that basically the Teslas were driving themselves, right? Because Teslas are now self-driving vehicles. They've already had vehicles that drive themselves because the BMWs were parking themselves some years ago, right? And I still feel that I don't all the way trust a computer, which is really a robot, to drive me anywhere, because I feel that this system can be overridden and they can override it and drive you straight to a FEMA camp. What if you're in the vehicle? What if they lock the doors on you going 70 miles per hour? You can't get out. They can take you anywhere. Where are you going to go? The Teslas has like a satellite. um it's based off satellites, right? This the whole thing is a computer. The whole Tesla, if you've been inside the Tesla, is nothing but a big computer on wheels. That is dangerous, because if you're going to allow a computer to drive you, please understand that if you allow the car to drive you, which I don't think they're doing this right now in all of the United States. I think they tried to implement it in California, but I don't think they're doing it right away. You're still going to be liable for this vehicle if you get into a car accident, even if it's a computer glitch. Okay. Because I don't even understand how an insurance policy can be written for something like this. But let's go ahead. Let's see what you're saying in the comment section. You said those were their exact words. I'm sorry, detonated. Excuse the typo. The footage is hard to watch. Yes, it is. People who died in 9/11 to the government was collateral damage. Of course they were. And I wasn't shocked watching this movie. Me either. Everything that was in this movie, I've been called out 7 years ago. That's because you're ahead of your time, knowledge seeker. You're a forward thinker, and you're enlightened. And this is what they don't want. They don't want people like you, figuring things out. Now, also, okay, what did I want to talk about? It was so much that I wrote down here. Um, the Tesla robots, okay, because that's what it is. It's a robot on wheels. It kind of reminded me of iRobot, because if you remember in iRobot, Will Smith was being they were fighting those robots. And don't you know that it has been documented that back in, I think, 2021, an actual robot has already attacked a human being. And I'm going to pull up that article. They actually suppressed this from the media so people would not know about it. But there is a real live robot that has already attacked a human being and drew blood. So, what do you think is going to happen if you put us inside of a robot on wheels? All right. I'm going to bring that article up when I finish with this video. I also pointed out that the barnyard scene with Julia Roberts was a sense of entitlement. She kept being very condescending, which we know as melanated people how this feels, because we go through this on a daily basis. All right. So that was a turn off to me watching her play that role. I always thought Julia Roberts was a nice looking female. She's been around for a number of years, but she played that movie scene all too well. She seemed like she is very familiarized with that character. All right. The guy on the porch with the gun, he was very interesting. So basically they got to a part where, the Caucasian guy, his son has started getting sick, started losing his teeth out of nowhere. I don't know where this was coming from. He just started getting sick. So the melanated guy said, my neighbor up the road, he should have something for you. He stocks this and he has that, and he has a whole stash in his house. He has medical equipment and he has all of these things, right? Well, when they showed up to the guy's house, the guy came out there with a shotgun. and basically let them know that he needed to get off of their property. Now, the melanated guy says, "Oh, we're not going anywhere." He basically was about to put his whole life in jeopardy, knowing that he has a daughter at home that he promised, "I will be back in an hour." But yet he goes out there in front of the Caucasian people and puts his life on the line for these Caucasian people. Okay. When will we stop? Okay. Loving our oppressor and slave master more than we love our own kind, our own selves, our own family. When does that stop? Because do you think if it were the other way around, that Julia Roberts would have put her life on the line for him or his daughter? I think not. That was sickening to watch to me. I don't know if anybody caught that. Um, yeah, so I talked about the fact that he left his daughter behind to help the other people. She was unprotected, she was neglected and abandoned. What does that say? That is just like the metaphor that we see in everyday society. What is the melanated female? Neglected, unprotected, abandoned, left in havoc. That's exactly what they do to the melanated female. The same thing he did to his daughter. He left his daughter in a chaotic atmosphere, not knowing what was going on. She had no other family. He said, "I'll be back. I'm going to go help these Caucasian people that are strangers, and you stay right here with this Caucasian lady that clearly doesn't like her, clearly didn't welcome them, did not like them." He left his daughter there in a very uncomfortable situation, not knowing if she was going to be okay, knowing that they had no cell phone reception, no type of internet connection, no way to communicate, but promised his daughter, his melanated daughter, his intelligent daughter, that he would be back in an hour. But what was he doing in an hour? Out there putting his life on the line for this Caucasian man that he doesn't even know, this stranger that he just met, knowing that he has a whole live daughter that he just left back at the house. That was crazy to me, y'all. Then on top of that, they didn't know where her mother was. I don't even think she had any other siblings or cousins or anything like that. So why on earth would you leave your daughter behind? And it's titled Leave the World Behind, right? All right, so let's talk about the electromagnetic pulses, because if you recall, there were electromagnetic pulses. We already know the EMPs, that's what they call them, are some. It's like something that they use in battle. Is a military tactical situation that they can use against the enemy, and if they wanted to turn on these pulses, they could use it against the people. And these magnetic pulses can actually cause you to basically vibrate at such a high frequency that you can go crazy and you can come to your untimely demise. All right. They can be very dangerous because our bodies are 70% water. So we respond to sound because water vibrates. If you look at water, it doesn't do anything but vibrate. So the blood that circulates in us, the fluids that circulates in us, if you start playing music, guess what our bodies do, excuse me, our bodies actually start to respond to the frequency. That's why, especially with melanated people, when you turn on music, what do we start doing? We subconsciously start moving. We subconsciously, you know what I'm saying? We get into the rhythm because it's in our bones. All right. It's just in us. We are designed this way. And this is what they always use against us. They use sound vibrations against us because some of these tones, these frequencies that we listen to in the music are detrimental to us and we're not aware of it. So this is why a lot of times when you hear 3-6 Mafia, already they're letting you know the sound, the tones of destruction. All right. So just be careful with that. Also, I wanted to talk about the celebrities having the underground bunkers. All right. So if anything were to happen, such as what we saw in Leave the World Behind, don't you know the Kardashians, they have bunkers? You can look this up. Mark Zuckerberg has underground bunkers. Bill Gates has multiple underground bunkers. He actually stole his idea of Microsoft. Was not his idea. It was a partner of his. They are all related and within the 13 bloodline families, you all. So It is a part of the bloodline of the 13 families. That's what I have in my notes. So the reason that these people has risen to success is because they're in the bloodline. So we talked about 9/11. Yes, because it resembled the fake terror attacks towards the end. Also, it is in their nature to steal ideas, patents, just like the Ford cars. All Ford did was take the idea that he stole, right? And he had a way to manufacture it and manufacture it over and over and over again. And he put his name on it. So I don't support Ford because I know that is a stolen patent. Okay. Um, they stole blues music. Where do you think country music comes from? They are erasing our history and whitewashing everything. This is what I have in my notes, you all. COVID is a scare attack. People calling the police for gatherings. Do you remember that? Remember, people were calling the police just because we had, if anybody had a barbecue in their backyard, if they had a party in their backyard during 2020, you know who it was doing that. They were calling the police on people because they had a gathering in their backyards. Um, People were getting into fights over COVID because of what the quote unquote government told them about COVID. So there was a lot of discrepancy among the people. There was a lot of infighting. So instead of unity, people were starting to go at war against one another. All right. Also, I want to talk about the H1N1 and SARS because they said the H1N1 virus came from where? The Hispanics. Do y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. This was earlier in the 2000s. SARS, that was like in 2003. They said that came from China, in the words of Donald Trump. It came from Asia. The Asians brought SARS over here. And SARS they said it came from a cockroach. All right. The H1N1. Then there was, I think, the swine flu. They said they came from a bird. Y'all be careful out here. So we saw a lot of these things repeating and leave the world behind because how did that Caucasian boy start to get sick out of nowhere, right? No explanation on why his teeth started falling out for no reason. We don't know. Where did it come from? The end of the movie, it says Rose was feasting and saved herself. So this was the little girl. Remember, she ran off and didn't tell the rest of her family where she was going. So there was a boy and a girl. The two Caucasian people had a family. It was a little boy. Well, he was a teenage boy, and a girl. She was like in elementary school or maybe junior high, maybe middle school. Anyway, she ran away because she said the family never listened to her. She was paying attention to nature, everyone. She was always looking at I think it was like a group of deer. She was paying attention to the deer. She said, they're trying to tell us something. Nobody would listen to her. And she felt like she was never being heard. A lot of times that's how it is in nature. Nature tries to talk to us, but we don't listen, right? So if you pay attention to animals, animals always know when there's about to be torrential weather, if there's about to be like a storm, any type of unsettling weather, pay attention to the animals because they start to migrate. Birds will start to migrate. They will fly south. They will be in flocks and groups, and they will start to migrate and seek shelter and cover. Even like farm animals will start to act funny. Horses will act a certain way. Cows will act a certain way. But a lot of people don't pay attention to that because they are too caught up in their electronic devices. Um, at the end of the movie, she was feasting, and guess what she did? She saved herself. She didn't even tell her family where she was going. She just left. She stated her family, yeah, I already said that, did not listen and did not care. I said that this was a dumb ending. I didn't like the way it ended. It was a dumb ending, and I felt like it was a waste of my time to pay attention to this movie. I was not impressed with the movie at all. Okay, and I put in here, it reminded me of the 2012 movie with The Rock. Um, Also, it's a reinforcement that these nations every few years um, also has to put like these movies out about the world coming to an end. Leave the world behind. 2012. Remember when 2000 came, everybody said the world was going to come to an end. 2012, everybody said, save your water, the world's going to come to an end. So they keep reinforcing the same thing to us over and over and over again. Just like The Color Purple, I refuse to watch movies like that because to me, that insinuates a slave minded mentality. So they always have to put out, what's that movie? What's that slave movie that everybody watches that I never watch? And they keep putting it out there. I can't think of the name of it, but I refuse to watch that stuff, y'all. All right, so let me see what you're saying, Knowledge Seeker. I, Robot was another movie that was before its time. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to pull up that article too. The melanated father character was well acted, but very annoying. Yeah, he was a good actor. Um, Elon Musk has one. Are you opening up the video chat tonight? I certainly can. The government will never give us a heads up and whistleblow about the future. Of course not. Oh, 12 years a slave. 12 years a slave. I think that's what it is. I think it could be 12 years a slave. I can't think of it. But yes, let me look up this article about robot attacks a human. And then I will open up I haven't opened up the chat in like, I don't know when. Robot attacks. Oh, here it is. A Tesla employee. So this is something that they did not tell us about, you all. This is crazy. Craziness. Robot arm attack at a Tesla plant. Left engineer at a Texas factory. And see, this, like I said, this happened. Oh, y'all. It happened in 2021. So they suppressed all of this information. They did not want us to know. But I'm going to pull it up so you all can see this as well. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, hopefully this comes up so you can see it. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Okay, it says report. Okay, a robot arm attack at Tesla plant left engineer injured with a trail of blood. This happened, like I said, in 2021. It was reported December 28th, 2023. A Tesla manufacturing robot attacked an engineer at a Texas factory in 2021, leaving the man bloodied and witnesses to the event in shock, according to a report. The incident took place at the Tesla Gigafactory based in Austin, according to a report filed with regulators. The story came to light last week when the website, The Information, published a report about it. And notice how they keep it very brief. They don't want to say too much because they know people probably disagree. There are a lot of people that disagree with these robots taking over. The incident happened when an engineer started to work on 3 robot arms, but didn't realize that only 2 had been shut off, the information reported. As he was working on a software update, the 3rd robotic arm kept moving and pinned the engineer against the surface. The robot's claw dug into the worker's back and arm, leaving him with an open wound on his left hand. The information reported, citing 2 unnamed witnesses. So they don't even want to be named as a witness. One of the other workers in the area pushed an emergency stop button, and the engineer was able to get out of the grasp of the robot's arm. He fell into a scrap metal chute. This is very dangerous, y'all. Trailing blood behind him, according to the story. Tesla has not yet responded to a request for comment from The Information, Fortune, and other media outlets, but the company's owner, Elon Musk, commented on the story via X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, I want you to think about this. If the robot did this, what do you think the Tesla would do? What do you think a driving machine on wheels that's nothing but a computerized robot would do to you at 70 miles per hour? Truly shameful of the media to dredge up an injury from 2 years ago due to a simple industrial cuckoo robot arm found in all factories and imply that it is due to Optimus now, Musk wrote in the X post on Wednesday. So he's trying to downplay it. But think about what they said. The robot dug its fingers into the back of an employee. They had to literally shut down the machine for this thing to stop. So, they're making the robots with intelligence, and they are mixing robots with human DNA. So, this thing has a lot of intelligence, and it can actually override what a human being tells it to do. It just so happened that this robot was not fully in capacity and fully functional, because had it been, it probably would have killed the human being. All right, so let's continue on. The Optimus is Tesla's humanoid robot. Remember Optimus Prime on the Transformers? Hondatron. No, what was it? Optimus Prime. So there was Bumblebee. All of these things transformed. They had human characteristics, but they came from somewhere else and they were kind of like robotic. Okay, so the Optimus is Tesla's humanoid robot. The accident in Texas involved a KUKA robot arm that is used in manufacturing automobiles there. The incident happened on November 10th, 2021, according to Tesla's Form 300 report to the Occupational Safety and Health. Whoever this person was, I hope they had a lawsuit, and I hope they sued Tesla and these robots and whomever else was responsible for this nonsense. I wouldn't be working around this stuff. Um, let's go on, you all. All right. So, okay, the company is legally required to report any on the floor injuries at its manufacturing plants. According to Fortune, OSHA inspected Tesla's Austin factory once a year in 2021 and 2022. Tesla's Fremont, California factory was inspected 9 times each year in both years, and 4 in 2023, the outlet reported. Tesla has seen other workplace incidents over the past few years, and in 2020, California regulators said Tesla had sent them incomplete factory injury reports. So people are out here getting injured by robots in the Tesla factories. In a memo sent to Tesla at the time, OSHA warned the company that it found it had repeatedly failed to mention injuries at its main assembly plant in reports to the state. At least 36 injuries were left out of Tesla's records in 2018 alone, the memo reviewed by Business Insider showed. The Workers' Defense Project, a nonprofit labor organization, filed a suit against Tesla in 2022, alleging that the company was not doing enough to provide sufficient safety training to employees. This is not even a matter of sufficient training. This is the fact that they are trying to play God. All right? That's what this is about. That's what this is about. So I will go ahead. If you want to come up, Knowledge Seeker, I'm going to drop the link. It's quite crazy what's going on out here with these robots, with Tesla, with all this nonsense. And y'all know everybody is engulfed with the Shannon Sharp, Cat Williams debacle situation. It is quite entertaining. Right now, he's sitting at 46.7 million views the last time I checked. He's almost at 47 million views. I wish sometimes that things that really mattered to people would get just as many views, but unfortunately, it does not. Like this live stream is not going to get that many views because people are simply not interested in people being attacked by robots because they think it's kind of crazy and it's out of the realm of what they're interested in. Yeah, I got a text, y'all, coming through. So yes, yes, if you would like to join, you can join. I just dropped a links. Oh, there you are. What's good, Knowledge Seeker in the building? I'm going to pull you on up. How are you today?
I'm very, very good. Is my audio coming in good?
You are coming in crystal clear.
All right, it's good to be back in here dusting off the cobwebs. Still happy, new beginning. I don't believe in any new year because that's their beliefs and their culture, though. So happy new beginning for everybody in this, new timeline we're in. It's good to, be back on here talking about the real stuff out there in the world, though. So it's good to
So
be.
glad to have you, Knowledge Seeker. It is such a pleasure. It's just like old times. Yes, indeed. So what are your thoughts on, because I know you had actually kind of sent this to me in the comment section, and I was like, yeah, you know what? That is a good movie to review. So what were your thoughts on the movie when you watched it? Because I know you said you watched it like 5 times.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
See, it's for me though. I saw it when it aired. I watched it 5 times though. I disliked the movie within itself though because like it's well acted though, but the cinematography is all over the place. I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
The plot takes a while for it to get going. It drags on for way too long. And overstay says welcome though, but I still like to watch Hidden Gems to still see what's ending I could have missed though. So I thought the movie overall is pretty bad. It's
Oh,
not
really?
worth anybody's time.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, you definitely said an earful. I love how you summarized everything. Was there anything that you learned from the movie?
Now, everything they did say in the movie, I've known and called out for like over 7 years though. But what I will say about
Mhm.
Leave the World Behind is that the one hidden gem I did pick up those when the flyers were dropping and they were all written in, I think it was Chinese. I forget
Mhm.
which language it was written in, but like these flyers are being dropped all over the town by these drones, and then like
Mhm.
everybody was like, I don't understand this symbolism, don't understand what this language means. But then the one kid who's like the young, white boy, I forget the character's name though, but he was all like, that logo means death to America. And he was like, I know, because I play video games. And the last video game I played, that symbol was in that video game, and that means death to America, though. Now, what a lot of people don't understand, though, is just like, I'm a gamer myself, though. These video games be dropping way more gems than a lot of these so-called movies like Leave the World Behind and, that Hollywood makes, though. Because if you pay attention to the storyline of these video games, though, they be exposing cloning, government facilities, FEMA camps, and, like, all sorts of stuff, though. Even but the Resident Evil video game series, though, exposes how all of these diseases that are in our world are made in laboratories, and sometimes they are spread to the population on purpose to fit
Mhm.
these corporations' evil satanic agendas. That's in Resident Evil, and which is just so funny. The Spider-Man video game that came out in 2018. I bought it day one on launch, though. The Spider-Man video game predicted the pandemic a full 2 years. It also predicted how we'll be fighting a pandemic in the midst of an election year. Like, and that video game came out in 2018, 2 years before the whole pandemic began. So that's the hidden
Wow.
gem that I noticed in the movie.
I did not know that. But also, aside from video games, cartoons, a lot of these cartoons that the children watch are very advanced. My nephews know about stuff that I didn't even know they knew about. I'm like, where did you find that? How did you know about that? And they're like, because they're watching these cartoons. And it is like very informative information that I'm surprised and be shocked that they even knew about half the stuff that they're like teleporting. I was like, I told my nephew, I mean, this is when he was much younger. What do you know about teleporting at the age of 4? And he knew what it meant. It's very, very surprising to me.
Yeah, the cartoons. And also, what I do want to say about this, though, I do agree when you would say we shouldn't buy all the hype, though, because Hollywood has to make these type of movies, because the
Mhm.
more and more woke we get, though, they have to do damage control and feed into our fears and the chaos, though. Because I'm about to, you know, put so much energy into this movie, though. Once I found out that the Obamas was a part of it, though, and they
Uh-huh.
are not our friends, ladies and gentlemen. Though Obama, he's daddy deep state, though. We're in
Mhm.
because of him. He's not a whistleblower, and Michelle was involved with it too. We all know that's Michael Obama. Let me just put it that way.
Oh yeah.
so,
Oh
so
yeah. Roots is the movie. I just thought of it. Roots is the movie that I was thinking about. Every so many years, they always push that movie to us. It's Roots, and I refuse to watch it. I refuse to watch Django. I refuse to watch Life with Martin Lawrence and what was it? Eddie Murphy? Was it Eddie Murphy? I don't know, whoever it was. I don't watch stuff like that, and I don't watch
whi-
The Color Purple.
which I watched The Roots when I was in elementary, when I was in kindergarten. I
Yeah.
watched like my teacher had us watch White Kids Included though too. We watched Roots in kindergarten.
You know what? We did watch in fourth grade. They made us watch a slave movie, and I believe that could have been Roots. I don't know what it was because I can't remember the title, but they forced us to watch a slave movie in fourth grade. So they embed this into, I guess, everybody. So we all go through this in school. We all go through this nonsense, this psychological manipulation in school. And I think that is psychologically traumatizing to elementary children. There's no reason why we should be watching slave movies in elementary school. That's crazy to me. All that does is it definitely sends a message about how savage these individuals are. To me, anyway. That's how I look at it.
I just feel it messes up a black person's self-esteem because our history does
Mhm.
not begin on the back of a boat. If you do your history, though, we've been all over the place from
Never.
India. We built the pyramids in Egypt, though, so we come from a royal lineage, though. But they will never teach us that part of our history. They will never do that for us, though.
No.
So it makes sense why they want to push roots to us, though, because look how we were enslaved. Yes, we were. I do believe some of us were enslaved, but that's not our full history. It's not our full
Mhm.
history.
Mm-mm. No, it's not. Yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because I know you had brought it up, and I have been meaning to do it for a couple of weeks, but I always ended up being tired or just not doing it because, I was so drained. And I feel like when I come on, I want to give some energy to the video about what I'm doing. I don't like to just come on here and not have my full, capacity of energy going because this does take energy to get up here and talk. um it's so many other things I want to get into. Like, I feel like ending this live stream and coming back on again because I really want to touch on about the immigrants getting benefits. And this needs to be talked about because I know a lot of people out here are struggling, with having health care. A lot of people out here are just struggling all around, just financially, having a place to live, paying rent, paying mortgage, whatever it is. But it's a lot. And the reason I'm speaking on this is because right now I'm actually working with children in the school system, right? And it's
Mm.
like 75% of these school systems. And that's something that I'm going to touch on because Cat Williams talked about it too in the Shannon Sharp video. So I'm going to play that and I'll probably come back on here again and talk about it. But 75% of a lot of these schools are starting to be Hispanic. It's hard to find melanated children in a lot of these schools. Like when you go in the classroom, you might have 2 out of 16 Hispanic children, no Caucasian children in a lot of these classrooms. It depends on what side of town, you know what I'm saying, you go to. But what's happening is the Hispanic children cannot speak English, but they allow the immigrants into the classroom. Okay. They are allowing these children into the classroom and they cannot speak English. So what they're doing is throughout the time that they're in school, they're pulling them out one by one. They have like a special tutor that comes and sits with them to teach them English. They actually asked me to help do this because I have an English major background. And so they approached me one day when I was at the school. It was my first day there. And they asked me if I would be willing to help them do this. And they're going to be doing some testing in the next few weeks, testing the elementary school age children on how well they can read, write, understand, comprehend the language and all of that. So it's very interesting that now not only do they come over here and set up stores, set up anything that they need for themselves, they have Spanish channels at their disposal. They can also send their children to school, and the children don't even have to speak English, and they get a free education. They're getting free healthcare benefits because Joe Biden is actually implementing that into force for them as well. So while us, the people that built this country, sit here and keep going to work, paying taxes, doing all these things, FICA is coming out of our paychecks, what is it, Medicare, Social Security. We can't get any free benefits, but the immigrants are getting all the free benefits. I'm telling you, it is atrocious what's really going on out here. And
Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. You go.
Another thing that I'm finding out too, and I'm going to do another separate video about it on this channel because I got another channel that I'm talking about it, but this channel, a lot of the melanated children, like what Cat Williams was saying in his video, is that you're going to have a world full of illiterate children. And I'm telling you, these children are in third grade, knowledge seeker, third grade, and cannot read. When I tell you they cannot read, I mean, I have sat with them one by one because I also tutor, and they'll sit there and stare at the paper, and all they recognize is I, a. Some of them don't even know how to. They don't know what the word out they don't know what that word is. So one day, I'm going to give you an example. I was in a classroom, right? So this was just this past week, within the last several days. I'm in the classroom full of third graders, and I had to pass out the worksheets. So it's a literacy class. So it's heavy reading, heavy comprehension, heavy writing. Because if you don't do anything in society, the main thing you need in school is reading, writing, and math. These are things we need. So, and these are the things that they cannot do. So the girls come in there, melanated girls, nice, one girl, she had the most beautiful eyes, but she cannot read. And she had on this beautiful jacket. Her mother had bought her iPhone 14. She's on the cheerleading team. Some of these girls are getting their nails done, but they cannot read. So I asked her, I said, so what is it? What is the problem? Because I see that they're not doing their work. So I'm like, is it that you don't understand the question? Do you need help? Or is it that you need help reading? Mostly all the entire class was just sitting there staring off because they could not read. And a lot of times what I'm finding is that this is why they can't do their math, because they can't read the problem to do the math. Some of them don't know what the plus, which is addition. They don't know that symbol. They don't know what the minus, which is, subtraction. They don't know what that means. Or they can't read the math problem. So like if you have a word problem and it says Jack, had $50 and he gave 17 to such and such. How many dollars did Jack? They don't know how to read that. So that's why they just skip over it. Sometimes what I'm also noticing they can't do math is that simple math problems, they can't multiply, they cannot divide, they can't add, and they barely can subtract. And I remember asking one of the children, I'm like, what's 2 plus 0? Now, anybody knows that by second to third grade, 2 plus 0, you automatically shouldn't even have to think about it. These children will sit there and go like this. They got to think about it. It's nothing to think about. And so I'm telling them this is nothing to think about. Back to the literacy thing. So the girls were saying that they needed help reading, right? So I want to help them so badly, but when you're in a classroom full of like 20 children and they're all asking you questions, you're just one person. You might have a teacher's assistant or a teacher's aide, and sometimes you might not even have that. So it is very difficult to get to every child. So what I tried to do is I tried to put them into a group. All the ones that were having difficulty reading, I put all the girls together. I said, I tell you what, you all sit together. Does any one of the girls in here know how to read very well? Because I'm going to have her read this paragraph to you. Yeah, my friend right there, she's a really good reader. I bring the friend over, right? Now she's a sweetheart and she's a nice girl. She's real tall, very, very, mannerable. So I'm listening to her read. And she's struggling. Now she's supposed to be the strongest reader of the group, but she's struggling just as, not as badly, but she's struggling pretty bad. So I'm like, I said, now, when I asked this entire class, could y'all read well? Everybody raised their hand. Me. I said, I'm also going to put you to the test. I'm going to challenge you on that, y'all. So needless to say, they could not read that well. So even the girl that was supposed to be the strongest reader, I wasn't impressed. Because she was like every other word. She didn't know it. So what does that do? That delays the whole assignment. You can't even get through a worksheet because now we have to go over, we can't even do context clues. We have to do consonants. What sound does this make when you put it together? Sound it out. We have to go back to kindergarten and first grade, the basics, and they're in third grade. They're 8 and 9 years old. They're already behind. So, aside from that, what I'm also noticing is that some of the Hispanic children are doing better than the melanated children when it comes to literacy, reading, writing, and math
Wow.
in our own country, in our own classrooms in the United States.
Wow.
Mhm.
I don't know what to even say to that.
It's happening, and I'm seeing it. I just worked with the kindergarten class yesterday, and we're doing simple counting, right? So the children know how to count to 100, right? They know how to count to 100. So the worksheet is very simple. This is kindergarten. So they
Mhm.
give you a number. The number is 4. So there's a box that comes before the number 4, and there's a box that comes after the number 4. So the question is, what number should go here and what number should go there, right? Very simple. So because I'm just thinking, oh, they don't even have to think about it. They know how to count. We just count it to 100. We just count it by tens. They can get it. Mm-mm. They were just filling in boxes. Somebody put 9. They were putting 8. I saw somebody put the number 2. I'm like, why are you putting these numbers in the boxes? I said, look at the chart. Look at the number chart. Count. But what's happening is that, like Cat Williams was saying, you have a world full of illiterate children because of what they've done to the school system. So now it's no child left behind, meaning that if your child does not understand in kindergarten, you can still get pushed to first grade. If your child does not understand in first grade, you can still get pushed on to second grade. So this is why you have a room full of third graders that can't read because they didn't read, they didn't understand in kindergarten, first grade, or second grade. Now it's not up to the school system to hold the children back. The parents have to sign a paper saying that they want their child held back because it's no child left behind. So this was a setup when they did that. Now, guess what? When your child graduates and gets a diploma, it doesn't mean anything because anybody can get a diploma. You don't even have to be able to read to get a diploma. My friend in Dallas told me that she works with 5th and 6th graders that cannot read. Some of them, she said, don't even know how to write their names.
But they're still getting passed along.
They're still getting passed along because it's no child left, literally no child left behind. That's what they have going on. No child left behind. Remember, like when Bill Clinton came up with the 3 strikes rule, 3 strikes you're out. Well, they came up with the no child left behind. And nobody cares about that. Like when you start talking about the literacy rate and education, and if the children are our future, what's going to happen when we need lawyers, when we need doctors, and we need things like scientists and nurses and physicians and just all types of things, we're not going to have anybody because these children cannot read and they cannot do math. When I'm telling you they cannot do math, they're teaching them Common Core math, meaning that this is why they cannot multiply in third grade because they're teaching them to draw some type of chart and a bar. I don't know if you had to do this in school, Knowledge Seeker, but the way that we learned how to multiply and divide was not this way. And it's confusing the children. And there's a very simple way to get the answer. I was working with a group of 4th graders last week, and I had them multiplying. This girl sat there and drew out a whole freaking chart and a graph trying to multiply when all she had to do was carry her numbers, and boom, we got the answer in a matter of seconds. And so what I did was I put it up on the board. I let them see how I did it. I gave one of them my phone. I said, now check it on the calculator and see if I'm right. While she's still sitting up there 5 minutes later doing a whole diagram because she has to do it the way they're teaching her just to multiply. And so if you don't do these steps properly and you don't know how to multiply, you don't know how to divide because you need multiplication to understand how many times does 7 go into 28. How many times does 5 go into 45? They don't know it. We know that it's 9 because we know 9 times 5 is 45. It's very simple. They're not grasping the concept of that because they're not being taught how to properly multiply. A lot of them can barely add if they have to carry the one. A lot of them can barely subtract if they have to borrow the, from the tens. They're not grasping the concept. So now you have a group of children that can't read, can't spell, can't comprehend, can't do math. What do you think is going to happen? So a lot of the melanated children are not going to get jobs by the time they graduate. You know who's going to get their jobs? The Hispanic children,
The immigrants.
the
They're
immigrants. And
going to surpass us.
that's another, yes. That is definitely a topic I'm going to go in on. And the title of that video is going to be, this video is not for everybody, because everybody is not going to watch it, nor do they care. And they might get offended by it. But you know what? I'm offended because I was a melanated girl in school. And guess what? I look at these girls and I look at these young melanated boys and I see my nephew. I see myself in these girls. I see the fact that they deserve to have an education system that's not going to fail them. And some of this is happening because of the parenting. So there's a lack of parenting going on at home. One of the girls was looking at me and she was, talking about talking about other things that had nothing to do with reading. And so I tried to talk to her. I tried to sit down and talk to her. I asked the girls, I said, look, what do you want to do when you get older? So one of the girls said, I want to sell clothes. I said, that's great. I said, I do that too. I have a clothing brand. The other girl said, I don't want to do anything. She said, I don't want to be anything. I don't want to do nothing. That's what she told me. I said, what do you mean you don't want to do anything? She said, I'm going to just get on Zoom. I said, what do you mean you're going to get on Zoom? So I'm thinking that perhaps she has a parent at home that gets on Zoom, because, like you work from home, you have meetings, you have a Zoom meeting. So then I said, well, in order for you to get on Zoom and in order for you to have a job working from home, do you understand that you're still going to have to read? Do you understand that reading? I told her, I told all of them, I said, reading is so important. I said, if you don't do anything else in school, you need to learn how to read and do your math. I said, and the reason you need to know how to do your math, you don't want anybody cheating you out of your money. And she said, well, I can just make pillows. I said, do you understand if you're going to make pillows, you have to follow instructions and directions? So you're going to have to read what type of material to buy from the store. If you have customers and clients, you're going to have to know how to understand how to read their names. Because she had an answer for everything I said, right? So that's the one that's on the cheerleading team. And I'm like, so where is like the focus here? Where's the priority? Because if it was my child, she would not be on a cheerleading team unless she can actually read before she goes out having extracurricular activities. Then on top of it, there's another young lady that really was struggling, and her situation was, so I asked all of the children, I said, do you have anybody that reads to you at home? That's a major problem that's going on with these children that can't read. They don't have anybody reading to them at home. 10 to 20 minutes. No, I'm not even going to say 10 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, because I used to read to my nephews. We had story time before bed. They loved it. And that really helps them because when they get read to, they recognize words and they get to, it helps them. So one girl told me that she tries to get somebody in her family, I think her siblings or someone older than her, to read, but they can't do it because they're busy, and her mother can't do it because she's a shift leader and she's working. I cut her off right there. I said, sweetheart, it's not your fault that your mother has to work. It's not your fault that your mother is a shift leader and has this shift and all of this. I said, your education is important. You are a priority. You're important. It was really making me mad. It was irritating me because all of these excuses are things that her mother told her. So you're putting ahead the fact that you have a job ahead of your child. So you don't care that your child can't read and she's struggling in school. You think it's the teacher's job to teach your child everything. It's not the teacher's job to teach your child everything. They're there to help your child through, but you have to do your part as a parent. Sit down and go over their homework. Find out what they're learning. Go over vocabulary words. I've asked children in the tutoring sessions that I've had when we did math, do you have flashcards at home? No. I said, see if your parents can get you some flashcards. How much are they? I said, they're $1 at the dollar store. And if you can't get those from your parents, I'll bring you some. I've bought flashcards and just gave them out because I'm like, there's no excuse. One boy in the fourth grade, he took those multiplication flashcards, and I think he was at home practicing, and he's gotten better at his multiplication. But it's simple little things like that. And that boy is not even from this country. I think he's from the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, somewhere like
Yeah.
that. But I'm just saying things, simple things that parents can do, they're not doing. But you go out, and your daughter that can't read, you bought an iPhone. Then when she's ready to go home, right before class ends, she's asking me, can she text someone? I said, no, do it on the bus. Why would you even try to text someone? She probably doesn't even know how to spell the words. She's probably like, just saying it over the phone. I don't know what she's doing. But the priorities, where do they lie? Why does your daughter have a cell phone and she cannot read? Why is she on the cheerleading team? She cannot read. You know what I'm saying? All these ladies, gadgets, these video games that's babysitting the children. This is why they can't read. This is why the kindergartners don't have an attention span. This is why. Because the parents want the iPads to babysit their children, YouTube to babysit their children. A lot of people are going to get offended by that. They don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. They're not parents. They're procreators. They just have children. And then a lot of times you'll find also that melanated children are the ones sleeping in the classroom. Oh, yes, I've seen that happen quite a few times. They're the only ones sleeping in the classrooms. When I was going to school, that would never happen. I politely, two melanated boys, told them that, they need to do their work. They didn't want to do their work. They want to lay down and go to sleep. So I asked the teacher's aide, I said, does this normally happen in here? Do they normally sleep? She was like, yeah, they do sometimes. I said, and what happens when they do this? Nothing. I'm like, oh no, we're not having this. You know what I did? I said, how do you call the front office? I had them to call the front office. I got on the phone. I let them know what's going on. I said, there are two people in here that want to go to sleep and don't want to do their work. There was two melanated guys came from the front office, showed up to that classroom, let those two little melanated boys know, you're going to sit up and do your work. If I have to come back in here, there are going to be consequences. I didn't have any more issues. So a lot of things that's going on in the classroom is because there's a lack of having fathers in the household. That's why this is happening. Behavior issues is going on in the classrooms because there are no fathers for reinforcement. So what I would really love to see is more melanated men in the school systems. It's a beautiful thing when you see it, and I love it every time I see it because melanated boys respond differently when they see melanated men in the school. This particular school has a melanated principal, which I love. Melanated guy principal, and melanated males are working there. And I mean, you need to see that balance because a woman cannot raise a man. It's just what it is. She's not a man. She is not biochemically designed to be a man. So all these mothers out here talking about some, oh yeah, I'm the male and the father. No, I'm the father and the mother. You're really not. You're trying to play a role that you cannot play. And so this is why you have a lot of these boys that's either emasculated or either they just don't respect women in school. So I also had to have a talk with one of the kindergartners yesterday because you know how you have helpers in school. So the helpers get to be the line leader, or they get to be the classroom helper, or they get to hold the door. You have door holders. So I've noticed in a lot of the elementary schools, the boys are gentlemen. They will hold the door and they'll bring the chairs out to recess for you. So I think that's really nice. But in this particular classroom in kindergarten, they had a little melanated girl being the door holder. So I thought that was a little awkward. She probably volunteered for that role, but I don't agree with that. So I asked the children when they went to recess, I said, who would like to be the door holder? So the little boys, they're volunteering, me. I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to let you hold the door. So the girl, she spoke up. Well, you said such and such was the door holder. I said, look, don't tell me what I said, because you know how children are always trying to like be adults and try to tell you what to do. You're not going to tell me what to do. Just be quiet.
Yeah, we got those out there.
I had to have a conversation because one of the other boys was like, but such and such is the door holder. I said, no, look, I said, you let these little boys be gentlemen. I said, men hold doors for women. That's what they do. I said, this is a male's job. This is a man's job. I said, and these are little gentlemen, and they are being a gentleman by holding the door for her, and she's a female. I said, so let them do what they're supposed to do. I said, this is why I have them holding the door open, because they're men, they're males, they're boys. I said, this is a male's job. I don't know whose bright idea it was. Nothing against the teacher, but I just think that some things you need to instill in children so they can understand the concept, because really, like, society is so backwards right now. It's so backwards right now. But anyway, that's my little rant right there about the school system, and everything that's going on.
No, you're good. I was listening to the whole thing. Like, it's educational, though. I guess things have actually changed, since, I was in school, though. So, I was, when you even said they was falling asleep in class, though, that was never me 1,000 times to
Me
begin
either.
with.
I
Especially if I
never.
yeah.
I wouldn't have. I don't even think we would have been able to get away with something like that. Honestly, no. I
But then
didn't have
again,
behavioral issues in school, though.
oh, I never had behavior issues in school. Like, I wasn't a student to cause problems. I wanted to get my education so I could just get the heck out of there.
Right?
Like, for me though,
Exactly.
I absolutely hated school growing up though. So like, I said to myself, I'm gonna do my best to get decent grades and get my diploma and get out. That's exactly what I did.
That is exactly what you did. And you're a bright individual. You know what I mean? So shout out to you. But yeah, that's just a little portion of like what I've seen thus far working within the school system. It's so many more stories. And like I said, I might start having story time on this channel, because I think, sometimes when you can actually correlate some of what we see with real life, with entertainment, maybe it'll start to get through to people, because right now people are like wide asleep. They don't want to see the truth. They don't want to see the truth. But yeah, shout out to Cat Williams when he said that in that interview with Shannon Sharp. He was right. He was right when he said that. So it's not just going on in one school system. This is a whole agenda being pushed around the entire nation, illiteracy, and it's being done purposely. Make no mistake about it. This is not by accident. This is not
It's
a
happening on
coincidence.
purpose. They
This,
want to they
yeah.
either want to keep us so like dumbed down to,
Mhm.
by the time these like melanated children leave high school, they're either gonna, rob and steal and just like be a bum on the streets, and it's all by design to just, keep us down too, though. Especially the
Yes.
schools and the projects, though. It's not on purpose why the teachers aren't teachers. It's on purpose why it's full of
Mhm.
crap, though. They don't want you to elevate, though. There's a specific agenda to keep our people as dumbed down as possible.
Yes. And I even found out that, so teachers can get grants. They can get grants, and they can get their education paid for if they go back to school and get another degree, right?
Hmm.
So the stipulation is that you have to teach at a certain school that's in high demand for teachers. And usually these are at what they classify as Title I schools. Title I schools usually have less resources. And there are schools that are struggling. There are schools that may be economically underprivileged. So sometimes the Caucasian teachers will be at these schools, but they're not teaching your children, because why should I care? It's not my Caucasian children. My child is not struggling. It's not my child. So I don't care if this melanated child can read or write. It doesn't matter to me. They will ride out their whole 4-year situation until it's time to leave. And they said that's exactly what happened at this school. A whole boatload of these teachers left after they paid for their funding for their grants and their education. Yep. So you got to be careful about that too. So I mean, that's just what goes on, y'all, behind the scenes. And I really, really, I push a lot for literacy among, children, especially like melanated children, because I know what we have to face when we get out in this world. Like, the world is cruel. It's not. This world is cruel to us. Okay, from the time you're born, you're gonna go through it. And if you can't read and you can't do math in society, they are going to take advantage of your ignorance. They already take advantage of whatever we don't know. And like, this is what I will say: melanated people's oppression is everybody else's come up. I'm going to say that again. Melanated people's oppression is everybody else's come up. How many nations, how many ethnic groups do you know benefit off of our oppression? The Asians. The Asians benefit with the Chinese food, nail salons. They know we don't open up our own stuff. Of course, the Caucasians benefit off of it. They took our whole territory. They took all of our land. Now it's going to get to a point where they're going to actually be pushing out melanated people can't afford to live in America. We're going to start migrating to other countries. This is going to be their land, the immigrants' land and the white people's land. Simple as that. That's what's happening. They don't care if we die. They don't care if we die off the face of the planet. And really, I think this is what the COVID was designed to do. Because if you remember, they said it was going to do what? It was going to target melanated people. We were going to be the ones susceptible and prone to it the most. And if you've noticed, within the last couple of months, more and more people have been getting like these upper respiratory infections and becoming sick. I got sick twice, lost my voice twice. Was so weak I couldn't even walk. I had to cancel my tutoring session. Normally, I don't ever get sick, but because I'm starting to be in close proximity around these germ incubators called children, I guess my immune system was not used to that, and I ended up getting sick. And my body fought it off. Most people would be like, go to the doctor. Now I'm scared to even go to the doctor, because if you exhibit anything that sounds like a COVID related symptom, they're going to want to test you for COVID. And I don't trust their test kits, because you know what I said was going on with those test kits on the cotton swabs of those test kits, particles moving around. And when they test you, they stick it up your nose, and that goes close to your brain. Nanobites. I can't talk about it too much on this channel, because if I do, they're going to mess with it. But like, I found it very funny that Russell Brand can talk about COVID and get 15,000 views when he says that they know the truth about vaccinations and lied to us. That's in his title, and his video is still up. When I talked about what happened with these injections, every time my video gets taken down. It's just crazy. But anyway, any more closing words, Mr. Knowledge Seeker, before we head out?
Oh no, just I do want to just, I always like to say, just, everybody be careful out there. It is getting crazy, because when you was even saying how you came down with something, you were sick for about a month or so, that's why I didn't put the issue on the whole, F Your Feelings Friday, because I can read between the lines. You need to get your body together before you come back on here. So I'm happy you're feeling better, though. I went out of town almost 2 months ago. When I came back, though, I was sick for about 2 weeks. So,
I'm so sorry you went through that.
Yeah, and I do what you're saying though, because like part of me was like, I was so sick. I'm like, should I go to the doctor and probably get some medication they can just give me though? But then has shown up with these symptoms though. They be quick to test you though. So I'll be trying to avoid these hospitals at all costs though. But hey, I'm young. I bounce back fast. So
shouts out to you.
So I made it through it though. So everybody just be careful out there and take care of yourself though. But thank you for still coming back on here and still, being a woman of your word and, talking about, this movie and still giving your opinions. And I wish the best of luck to you regarding the school situation, though, because I'm glad you're in that field, though. We need people like us in this field to help our own kind out, though, because other races ain't going to throw each other a bone. So we should do it for our people. So we should do it definitely for our people. So
we have to, man. But the parents also have to care about their own offspring. That's like, that should always be a priority. Like, nothing should ever come before your child. Nothing should. I don't care if it is a job. I don't care if you work overtime at your job, you can take 20 to 30 minutes to reach to your child at night. That's just simple as that. You can take 15 to 20 minutes to go over some flashcards. On the weekends, you have some type of time to help your child with their work. And
Man, that's just crazy. My parents told me they value education more than anything, though. Of course, they just said get the what you need to be an adult, though. The fact that they can't, teach their kids the basics, though, I'm going to value education with my children, though. At least I don't expect you to get straight A's, history
right,
and, and all these other subjects, though, they're redundant, though. Just at least learn the math and the reading.
yeah,
I'll go over it with myself, though. I will not
right.
be kids who can't know the basics. So that's why
The
I've been thinking
base
about homeschooling. I've been thinking about homeschooling if I have children.
homeschooling is the way to go, because this leads me into another thing. I don't know if the camera can see this, but I'm going to try to pull this up. It says settling in the North Carolina mountains. So this is one of the worksheets that they had. I don't even know if this will show up, but this is one of the worksheets that it's probably not going to focus. But I'm all right. So it says the first settlers. So they're still teaching the same lies that we learned in school. They're still recycling these lies to these children right now. The North Carolina mountains were the last area in North Carolina to be settled by the Europeans. Listen to that. We already know what happened. In the
Hmm.
1540s, when the Spanish settlers arrived looking for gold, they found the Cherokee tribe. You know who that is. The settlers and the Cherokee people started trading in the 1700s. As more settlers arrived into the mountains, the Cherokee tribe started moving farther west until they were completely displaced. Okay, let me read that again. The Cherokee tribe started moving farther west until they were completely displaced. Notice how they worded that. The Cherokee tribe were in the north, it's on the East Coast, which is North Carolina. North Carolina borders the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean borders this side. They said that the Cherokees moved further west until they were displaced. They didn't just moved. They didn't just move. They were pushed out of their territory. But they have such a way of writing and wording this without telling the truth about the savagery that the Cherokee people went through. In 1838, many Cherokee died, leaving North Carolina on a march called the Trail of Tears. Did they ever tell you how they got into being led into the Trail of Tears? No, it was because
No.
of their savagery that they went marching on the Trail of Tears. They died because the Europeans brought their sickness and diseases over to America, and the Indians could not survive a lot of the sicknesses and illness. It was foreign to them. They had not been introduced to syphilis and all these nasty diseases. The Cherokee people who stayed in North Carolina eventually lost their land to the settlers. How did they lose their land to the freaking settlers? That's the question. Don't you know I was in that classroom breaking it down to these children? I told them exactly what this
Yeah.
meant. I said, let me break this down to you how this happened. And I let them know the truth about what happened to these native indigenous people. Then they talk about the transportation. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be shady on here with the wording. Tell the truth about what you did. It says, okay, let me see the gold rush. Oh, California's in here too. Okay. So it says here in the 1820s, North Carolina had the largest gold production out of all the states. Once the gold rush started in California, Western North Carolina became a stopping point for many explorers heading west to look for gold. However, the mountain region of North Carolina stayed isolated from the rest of the state. Then they go into the railroad and they talk about that. And then they get into the 1880s. We know that the Rockefellers came about in the 1800s, which is why they invented the Industrial Revolution. And this is why they invented the school system. So, and we talked about what the school system was meant to do. Send your child here so you can come and work on the plantations. So that's exactly what happened. So I broke it down to those children because it doesn't make any sense. Oh, yes, this is another thing. I don't know if y'all can see. I took a picture of this in the cafeteria. So right here, it says milk does a body good. Got milk? About 15% of your height is added as a teen, and milk helps. Lies. Do you understand?
Wow.
Milk is made of
Jesus.
cow pus. Milk is nothing but cow pus and hormones. Don't you know they are still serving carton milk for lunch? You can either get the white milk or the chocolate milk. The
What?
chocolate milk or the
What?
white milk. Yeah, take your pick. Milk. They're still giving these babies cow pus and hormones.
I thought they would have been stopped that. Like, wow, they still doing that.
They still doing this. I thought, by now I'm like, oh, they probably getting juice, apple juice. Oh no. Oh no. They are still serving hot dogs, corn dogs, so pig and stuff like that. Yeah, the swine. Oh, they eat of the pork. Yes, they do. This is going on, y'all. So yeah, I even have video footage, of some stuff. But yeah, so I said I'm just taking copious notes. This is why I am an advocate for homeschooling, because the lies they tell, y'all, the lies they tell.
Sounds like it's gotten worse since I left the school system, though. So, like, imagine, like, in hearing your stories, though. Yeah, I'm pulling. Yeah, yeah. School is not going to be an option, though. I'm going to take my children's education into my own hands, though. I don't know if I plan on having kids or not, though. The idea comes to my mind sometimes, though. But if I definitely do, though, I'm taking their education into my hands and teaching them the real stuff.
Yeah, I don't blame you, and I'm a major advocate of homeschooling as well. Now, some things I don't know if I would have the full capacity to be able to teach, because like once they get, I'll be the first to say math was not my strongest subject. However, I don't want to toot my own horn, but last week, look, those children had math questions, and I didn't know what I was going to do, knowledge seeker. And I'm like, so what is your question? I thought they was going to choose, something kind of easy. I thought they were going to choose something. I was like, oh, I can breeze over this. No, all of them had questions about the word problems. I'm like, oh my God, word problems. That's not my forte. That's not my area of expertise. I'm an English major. I'm into literacy, writing, and stuff like that. So when math came, it was fourth grade. I was like, how am I going to break this stuff down? Luckily, I was able to figure the stuff out right there on the spot. I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself.
Trial and error.
No, it was just, I read it, I comprehended it, I wrote it out, I demonstrated it to the class. We went over it. I asked if they had any questions, and they said they understood. That's what they said anyway. And I was like, I didn't want to get up there and look like I didn't know what I was talking about. But I made it through.
Man, you
Yeah.
did that, though.
Yes,
But
I was proud of myself.
I did want to say this kind of last thing, though, because we talk about the education system, though. I brought this up on one of our sessions, what I want to say a year back, though. But the idea I've been having, though, since these last couple of years, though, I was thought like my own school, my own black private school is going to be an HBCU style, but it's going to be from like kindergarten to junior high and high school mixed together, though. But it's going to be an all black prep private school, and only black, and the stuff we're going to learn there is our history. We're going to learn agriculture. We're going to learn things, to better our lives. So teach them how to count money, to teach them how to own their own businesses. And by the time they leave the school, they'll be able to, flip the world inside out, though. But the thing was, they'll have this idea, though, but there is absolutely no school in America. I mean, no school district in America that will fund that and let me have that, though. A school like that would never exist. An all black private prep school, no, that teach them about our history, teach them how to own businesses, and by the time they leave, they'll be ready to flip the world inside open. A school like that would never be funded in America in this day and age.
You know what? You make a good point, knowledge seeker, but you still can. There are ways now that we have social media, there are ways to implement that. Because what I think I want to do with this channel as well, I want to have segments on here where I actually do some teaching, because I find that even when I'm looking at YouTube, there's a lot of illiterate stuff going on. Like in the comment section, people can't spell, they're using improper grammar, they don't know correct words. One of my friends, when she was in school, she was trying to fill out a job application, and you know how you put down your references. So I read her application. She put NABOR, neighbor. So
What?
right, NABOR. She didn't know how to spell neighbor. That's how she spelled neighbor. And you just don't understand that sometimes this stuff just it goes on more than what we know. You don't realize that people don't really know until you start just seeing them write or type or text or stuff like that. And a lot of times you can listen to a person talk and kind of understand their, like they don't have it all. But I think like what you could do, knowledge seeker, is, and this is what I want to do too, use your channel as your platform to teach. You could actually put your videos on unlisted. And if someone wanted to get into your group, if you had like a Patreon, you could charge for some of the information that you're teaching. If you want it exclusive only to a certain limited amount of people, you don't want everybody, coming into your group because it's just for melanated children. I mean, now, how would you know if someone's trying to infiltrate? I don't know. Maybe you could do like, meet and greets, like by way of Zoom or, on Instagram where you could actually see the people, or you could do something in your own community, and implement something, because that's actually something I wanted to do. I wanted to have like a private tutoring session that was outside of the school system. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it's hard to do stuff like that because they try to regulate everything. But I still think there's a way. If you wanted to do that, like if you want to teach, I still think you can come up with your own stuff. Look at all the scammers we got going on out here that's scamming melanated people. I mean, cryptocurrency scammers, Bitcoin scammers, all these people that say they're quote unquote gurus and financial experts. Look at DJ Envy and all the people he brought on the Breakfast Club. That's something else I'm going to be talking about. How did these people get scammed with the real estate scams? Because I'm a realtor, so we're going to go in on that too, because there are very, very easy ways that they could have avoided being scammed. And that's going to be another video that I'm going to be touching on. But I
Well, I
think,
can't wait for that one. I can't wait for
yeah,
that one. Though. You're dropping so many gems though, so I need you to get your energy up though, because we need to be dialoguing about this all in this new climate though, because our
yeah.
people need to be educated.
Yes, they do. So I think what I want to do is come on here and have a segment of like a literacy segment. It's going to be teaching English, teaching people, because there are different ways to spell the word there. There's THERE, which means over there. There's there, which means it shows ownership, which is THEIR, which a lot of people don't know that. And because adults keep misspelling it. And then there's they are, which is you put a apostrophe in between, THEY apostrophe RE. There, and there. A lot of people don't know that. I saw someone in the comment section earlier, they said beware, right? Beware. BEWARE. This is how they spelled it.
The wrong
B. They
way.
said BEWHERE, like beware. I'm like, oh my God. And these are grown people, adults in the comment section. So if this is going on YouTube, you can imagine these people have multiplied and had children, and it's only like spreading like wildfire out here with the illiteracy rate. So a lot of people get offended when you correct them on their grammar, on their English, on their spelling, but they should be happy to have someone to educate them, because you could go out here in front of, or interview for a job or fill out an application or a resume, or you could be just corresponding with someone and
Amen.
you don't know any better. And then you could make yourself look a certain type of way in front of someone. So
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry, you go.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right though, because I noticed that too when I be texting, my people who are my age and even older, they be, I'm like, what did this person say? That's not how you spell that word though. But I don't, me personally though, I don't say it to just, be like you're dumb or you don't know any better though. Like this is just like I'm here to help you out, make it better. Just,
Yeah.
sound better and be better as people. So yeah.
I've seen content creators, YouTubers misspelling titles, and I'm like, it looks bad, because now I do know a couple of times I'll go back and watch myself, and I will misuse certain noun verb agreements, like where I should say they were. Sometimes you would say they was. It's supposed to be they were. So stuff like that, I want to go over on this channel. I'm going to have a segment, and it's going to be highly geared towards children. I'm not even going to include adults because I know at this point in time, they're going to be offended. They're going to be like, oh, who are you? The English police? This is a bastardized language. This is not our native tongue. I get all of that. I understand it wholeheartedly. But some of these people that have platforms should not be in front of a camera, let alone a microphone. I mean, and it's embarrassing. So I just think that sometimes when you speak better, you sound better, you present yourself better. When you can write, you can formulate your thoughts, you can actually speak better. But a lot of people just get on the microphone with the camera and call themselves a YouTuber and a content creator, not knowing that they sound ignorant to the public eye, right? The public arena. So this is a lot of times why we, as melanated people, we get a stigma that, people like to they judge us, and it's very unfair because not everybody is the same way. And that goes back to the children that I was talking about being able to be literate and to read and write and comprehend and understand. People would take advantage of people that don't have these concepts. It's okay to be street smart. It's also okay to have book smarts. It's okay to have common sense. It's also okay to, be educated as well. And we're not talking about, oh, yeah, education is indoctrination. We're just saying that, sometimes you know what I'm saying. I don't even have to break it down to you because
I
you
know
get,
what you know.
you
I know
get
what
what
you're
I'm saying.
saying. I was just saying I have two special needs cousins, so I have to just let them constantly know though. It's just like learn this, have your education and stuff like that though. But like don't try to fight to be into their world when you go off into society though. Just know the basics though, but you don't have to kiss people's butts though. But it's just like we're in this matrix whether we like it or not though, so we need to learn just the gist of it all. But we don't have to conform to it or be indoctrinated into it though, where be in it but not be in it, if that makes any type of sense. So that's why I actually encourage my special needs cousins though. I just tell them just get the just what you need to know and then
Mhm.
go about your day. Go about your day though. You
That's
don't have
it.
to kiss butts, just learn, do what you have to do, and just be about your day.
Yeah, I've worked with autistic children, and what I find, they actually, autistic children they are smart. They are very, very intelligent. Sometimes they just have behavioral issues. A lot of times these behavior issues could be because of the autism, but also it can be because of what's going on at home. It can be a lack of discipline. It can be a lack of attention. It definitely varies because I definitely know that they are very, very smart. I was working with a first grader, and he's autistic. He knew every single dinosaur that exists: the Brontosaurus, the Stegosaurus, the Triceratops, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He knew dinosaurs that I didn't even know the names of. I was asking him, and he knew. He had a big thing about dinosaurs, and we went to the dinosaur museum and everything. But yeah, so it's just like, just sitting down and really being in tune with, someone that you share your genetic material with, which is your child. You would think that's the most important thing, but a lot of these parents are prioritizing, celebrity gossip. They want to get whatever they got going on. I don't know. You know what the things are that most of these melanated people are into. I guess making sure their child has Jordans and getting their nails done and getting their hair done and all this other stuff, but you're not paying attention to what's going on in here. And
You-
also stop speaking negative affirmations over your children. Like the little boy yesterday, he wanted to put his coat on. So he said, "Can you help me?" I said, "No, you're a big boy. You're in kindergarten. You can do it yourself. Because if you don't let them do it for themselves, they'll never know." He said, "My mom said I can't." I said, "No, we don't use the word can't in here. You can. Put your coat on, put your jacket on. You can do it." He
Oh
did it.
no,
He
that's
did it.
bad parenting right there.
hmm He did it. And I said, "See, you a big boy." I said, "Now straighten out your collar." Now straighten out his collar. I said, "And you put it on by yourself." "But my mommy said I can't." I said, "But you did, and you can." You never tell your child you can't.
Jesus Christ.
And that's what I'm saying about a lot of these parents have children, but they're not really parents. You know what I mean? They're procreators. They just got pregnant on accident. Basically, that's what happened. They got a baby mama and a baby daddy, and they just had a child. So it's just, and this is the stigma that's going on out here. Instead of promoting the family structure, instead of promoting, like a two-parent household. Now, Zanique, that's another topic that I need to get on because she's out here with a child. She's a baby mama right now. And the guy that she had a child with, he already had, I think, 3 or 4 other children. So she's baby mama number what? I don't know. Kind of like Tiny is to Ti, and he said that he was not trying to marry her. She said she didn't want to get married, and then she said something about, oh yeah, out here tripping, but I like women though. Your priority should be on this child, not about if you like women or not. Honestly, the child is going to be confused because there's no family structure. But this is supposed to be normalized in the melanated community and in society. So you want to have 2 mothers. It doesn't make sense to me because every child needs their father, whether you're a boy or a girl. Every child needs their parents, and every child needs their mother too. You need both parents because both parents offer something that the other one does not, regardless of what society is trying to tell people out here. They are backwards. Don't listen to this nonsense. When you look at the Lion Kingdom, what do they have? They have a daddy lion and they have a mother lion, okay? And they both play their roles. The daddy lion protects and the mother lion hunts. That's what they do. Every, animal tribe knows what they're supposed to be doing, except for the humans. When you get to the humans, they decide to do all this stuff backwards. Makes no sense to me.
It's been encouraged in our communities, and it's just a stigma worldwide right now. Especially America has done a very good job in promoting single parent households. It's typical. It's fine. In our culture, like a single mom raising 4 children, that's just normal in our era though. And like what's just so funny, my parents are divorced themselves though too though, but you see, I still have my father in my life though. I just like spent some days with my dad, some days with my mom though, but I still had that still structure of like the male energy and the mother energy in both of my life. But what's happening right now though, the fathers just want to just go out and pregnant these women and just like the heck with the kids and just like that's her problem, not mine. And now we got a whole bunch of people out here being raised by only the mother, and now the mother's just saying, oh, I'm the mom and the dad. No, you cannot be both at the same time. That's why we're in this predicament to begin with. You can't
Right.
admit that you can't be both.
Yeah. Yeah. And and see, mothers don't understand that they will sometimes effeminize boys because she has so much female energy. She has all this estrogen. Boys are not supposed to be around their aunts all day and around their female cousins all day and around their sisters and their mothers all day. They need to have the male energy around. Like you said, they need that male testosterone. So this is like throwing the melanated family off balance. And everybody's okay with this in society. Even melanated people are okay with dysfunction. They are now okay with being dysfunctional and backwards. It's crazy. It's crazy. When you say something that makes logical sense, now you're being looked upon as if you're crazy and if you said something wrong. That's how delusional this society is today. It's
No,
crazy.
no, especially we victimize, like we associate reading and writing and being having a good education with like, oh, you trying to be like the white man, or you trying to be like oh, you think you're so much better though, like like since when is reading and writing and get an education a white people thing? That is just a human thing. That is just a grown up thing. I don't associate
Oh.
whiteness to reading and writing. Being good in school and being trying to better your life, that's a white people thing.
No, it's not. Because actually the Asians, they value education very highly. They are very, very, very what is it?
Um,
They are very serious about their education in Asia. Like they don't play. Them Japanese children and them Chinese kid, they don't play about their education. That's why their technology is so advanced. I'm serious. Like, and they've been that way. Like, they don't play about their education. Over
They
here, it's different.
know the Asians, they strive for the best of the best. Though sometimes I don't condone that behavior at all. Though if they even get a B on a test in some cases, though that's the one way ticket to getting a butt whooping. And I don't. But wow, they're excessive though because they
Hmm.
disagree. They don't want to accept less. They don't want to accept anything less.
Yeah,
And
they
I
do. They do. They're serious about it. So, like, I think that, we just got to get back to having family structure, having morals, having values, having decorum, respect. It would be nice to have unity, but we were not meant to unify with a lot of people, because if you have one type of mindset and a high level of thinking, and someone else wants to be down here, then maybe we don't need to unify. You go over there with the ignorant people, and we'll go over here with the elevated people. How about that?
no,
And be
exactly.
divisive.
I no, I drove like a few days ago. I drove by 84th, like where like the hot zone in my city though, and I just see like young black men sagging, just throwing dice and gambling, just like hanging around the liquor store, wasting time doing nothing. I'm not even saying this to even put my people down. I actually believe our melanated people, we are actually very smart. We can elevate though. I'm doing this because I'm saying this because I want to be better. I'm not victimizing us though. You guys can literally do so much and offer to this world with your wonderful and powerful minds. You are strong black men. There's so much in you to just be at the front of the liquor store, sagging, throwing dice, wasting time doing nothing.
Right. And unfortunately, they keep on breeding these people that do this stuff, just breeding more and more and more of them. And it's the same thing. You hear about them getting killed, robbed. Matter of fact, right before I got on here, I just saw that Yo Gotti's brother was shot and killed today. I don't know if you know who
What?
Yo Gotti is. Yo
Yes, oh, so I know who Yo Gotti is.
Gotti,
Really? Recently?
today. His
Jesus,
brother was shot
today.
and killed today, the rapper. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what happened. They think that it could have been in retaliation for the Young Dolph murder, but I didn't really, I listened to a few of Young Dolph's songs because I had him like on a mixtape, but I didn't know that was Young Dolph because I wasn't really like into him like that. I just heard a bunch of people talking about him, and then I heard that he went to the cookie store and then he got gunned down, but I wasn't really into all of that. And they tried to say that Yo Gotti was connected to it some type of way, so they think that this is retaliation or something. I don't really know the full story about it, but like that is the repetitive cycle that I'm talking about, and then because of the rap lyrics that keeps being pushed, because of all of like the lifestyle that surrounds the rap lifestyle, it's nothing but death and murder. Who wants to? That's not living. Living is traveling the world, going to different countries, experiencing different cultures, being able to vacation and enjoying your life. That is living, not trying to find out if such and such got shot, having to worry about, if somebody going to rob you, kill you, steal from you. You got to watch your back. Like that's not it. That's not cool. It's not cute. And it's not an attractive lifestyle. I don't know who came up with this nonsense. I
It's
just don't get it.
It's been fed to our people for generations upon generations, and our young men, they're out here dying because of it, though, because they want to be like these rappers in the videos, though, with the guns, slinging dope. Jay Z made $1 billion empire off of gang and drug culture, slinging dope, throwing up gang signs. Though he perpetuated that to the youth, and some of them are still in jail because of the music he created. Though hip hop has done nothing but get more of our boys incarcerated or even dead, though or even dead, lusting after fast cars and having sex and money and jewelry.
Yeah. And that's another thing too about the hyper sexuality that's pushed amongst melanated people, especially the melanated boys and the little melanated girls, teaching young girls how to twerk all up on the videos and thinking it's cute. 3 years old, 4 or 5 year old twerkers. It's nothing cute about that. And then the boys are hypersexualized at such an early age. You're doing nothing but teaching these boys how to go get a girl pregnant. Now she's a teenage, you have a baby having a baby. So now, because they said that when the age that you have a child, your growth gets stunted mentally. And now You have the mindset of a 16-year-old, and then you're trying to raise a child into this world. It's crazy.
I come from a whole family of teen fathers and teen mothers and stuff like that. And some of the kids they produced are close around my age though, and like some of them are either incarcerated or done something bad though, all because they had a they had a teen parent though. Basically, they were a baby raising babies, and you see how where that got them, and you see how they went about teaching their child though, because they didn't know any better. They didn't know
Mhm.
what to do. And then streets raise people. It's a
Yeah.
lot of avenues to that though. This behavior is common in our culture. Sometimes I don't know what to do. Is there even a solution? Should I just better myself, or is there more I could be doing? I love my people, but I don't know sometimes.
Honestly, better yourself. That's how you can be a gift and a service to your people and society. Better yourself. And one thing I've learned, and this is gonna be another video about melanated people. Shout out to this. It's a YouTuber named Langston Hughes, and he talks about a lot of this stuff on his channel. And I've been watching him. Melanated people do not want to hear the truth. They do not want to unify. They do not want to do better. They will tell you, "Oh yeah, this and that," but really when it comes down to their actions, they're not going to do it. They're going to find everything negative they can. Like if you're doing something good or you're trying to help them or you're trying to give them advice, they're going to find a flaw in you. They're going to try to say something about you, talk about you behind your back, talk about you to your face. It doesn't matter. You can never be good enough for melanated people. No matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough. Never. So
Jesus Christ!
just better
Wow.
yourself. Better yourself. That's all I can tell you. Better yourself, and just be the gift that you can be to the world. And if someone comes along and wants your help, just as long as they're not trying to take advantage, then maybe you can help lead them or guide them. But like melanated people, they are a lost cause. You have to get to them when they are like the white man does. You know how they get to the babies when they're young and impressionable in kindergarten and they start telling them lies in elementary school? You have to get to melanated people when they're that age, because once they get past their age, it's no helping them. They're gone. Mentally, they're gone.
Wow. So
They
so
have to
when
want it.
So when a young boy or young girl is raised around in the projects, though, and just like teen pregnancy, or like, and a man is not a man until he's throwing up guns and slinging dope and throwing up gang signs, and when we get them at that age, then what they're gonna grow up and just do exactly that though, because they're very impressionable. This is what they grow up around. This is what they see around them. Then you become your environment.
I mean, everybody is different. There are some people that can be an exception, but for the most part, unless they want to change, unless there's a life altering event, unless something within themselves changes them, you can't change a person. No matter what you do, you can't change anybody else. They have to want it for themselves. And a lot of people, they get so comfortable with their lifestyle, they don't want to change. They just don't. They rather do whatever is more toxic than to do something that's more beneficial.
Wow, to do something that is good. Our people can't even do that 99% of the time. But to do what that is just, which is just out of our character, we do that and with no hesitation. Though you got these young girls who idolize Sexy Red with
Mhm.
Pound Town, thinking that is a queen right there. Which I
Disgusting.
don't, I don't.
It's nasty. And some of the things, the egregious things that I've heard that she said in her lyrics, I don't listen to her. I never wanted to listen to her. Somebody told me to turn her song on, and when I heard the first couple of words, I said I'm good. I turned it right back off. No, no, thank you. I can't.
Man, and you see, they will argue. People will argue and say this is women empowerment,
No, it's
and
not.
how dare you not support it?
That's not empowerment. I'll be no. That's not empowerment. That is ratchetness. That's what that is. Maya Angelou is empowerment. People like, Thurgood Marshall. Why don't they learn about people that actually were literate, actually could actually have a positive message for people? Still I Rise, you know, poems like that. But basically, what she's talking about, no, mm-mm. It's
What
not.
what happened? What happened to Lauren Hill with her posse? What happened to that style of music? What happened to Lauren Hill? What happened to Nas? I know I can be what I want to be.
I
So
did like that song too. I forgot all about that until you brought it. I like that song. Exactly. Those songs don't get pushed. You know why? You know who owns the record companies and these labels?
our
The
enemies.
yeah, it's called what is it? The AMG group over in the Netherlands. That's who owns most of all of the music. The Netherlands. Look it up.
Wow.
Yeah, you got
They
to
they own it. What?
Trapezoid owns the stuff. And like I said, and of course you can't find this video anymore. I wish I could. There was a it's an interview where they were talking about how they were building jail cells based off of rap lyrics, and they had a secret meeting, and they told the people in the meeting not to discuss this meeting with anyone outside of the meeting. And one of the men came out and he was on the air talking about it, and he said that what he heard, he was so disgusted by it that when he left out of there, I don't think he ever returned. And they actually, you can't find this interview anymore. It was on YouTube. It was like a radio interview. And I've tried searching and searching and searching, and I cannot find it, because I would play that on this channel so people could actually hear this interview.
Whoa.
Yeah, but they're building, they started building jails based on the rap lyrics. It was a secret meeting with all these businessmen, and they were invited to the meeting talking about it. And they were told to keep that meeting secret
I can
between just
You-
them.
Now that you mention it, though, I can definitely see that being a very good thing. That's very, no, it's very true. And most likely it's nefarious and it can work because when a young man is in the hood and all the songs he listens to is about robbing niggas, killing niggas, and running whores and doing being the worst character possible, what do you think he's going to do? Exactly what he's listening to in the music. So there
Yeah.
definitely is a correlation with the rap music, with the society and the people who own the music industry. So
Mhm.
now they know how many black men they can incarcerate right now thanks to the rap music.
I was talking to another staff member this past week at the school, and she said she is straightforward with these children. She let them know, do you understand that based upon how you all act in school, they are counting on you to go to jail. And they're building a jail cell just for people that behave like you, young melanated children that want to act out in class. They already know by the time you barely make it out of high school where you're going to be. They're building a jail cell just for you. That's what's going on. That is exactly, and like the parents, they act like they don't care. I've heard teachers say that they can't get parents to come to parent teacher conferences. They said
Oh
one
no.
of the parents, she's more concerned about being on TikTok all day. They don't show up to the conferences. They don't show up for, any of the meetings that the teachers want to have about their children. They got better things to do. They don't have time. This is what goes on. And then you think that your child is going to be successful. How I mean, like, the teachers can only do but so much, and then if it's like the parents don't care, they're showing a lack of care and concern. Here's another thing that's taking place. You have these baby mothers, single ratchet females having children, right? Having a multitude of children, getting a check off of the child that gets classified as having a disability and behavior issues. So even though they probably could correct the behavior issues, they get a check from their child misbehaving in class. Because you can get checks for children that have disabilities, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because they get checks for this, that means that there's more money for them. So they don't care if the child is acting out. They don't care if their child is classified as having a learning problem or disabled or challenged. They don't care because it's a free check. The child is a free check for them. That's how trifling these people are. That goes on. This is the mentality of the people that are procreating and reproducing.
Lost cause.
And then
Lost cause.
they keep having more. I talked to one boy in second grade, melanated boy that wanted to go to sleep in class. Just got to class. He head all like this. You know, you try to talk to him. Oh, I don't feel like being here. I pulled him to the side, try to have a conversation. I want to go home. I want to get in my pool. I said it's 30 degrees outside. It's too cold for a pool. You're going to get sick. I just don't feel like being here. This is second grade. He's, I think, 8 or 9. And I said, you have any sisters or brothers? Because I'm trying to, like, now I'm trying to understand what is this behavior that I'm seeing. So he has a brother that goes to the school that I think might be older than him. Another one that's in high school. By the time he finished, it was 5 of them. Basically, that's what I'm getting at. 5 of them. I bet you there's no father. So what is that? Oh, the mother she wanted to keep having children and being a baby mama. So what do you think that little boy is going to be in 5 to 10 years from now?
Part of this going into the system.
That's
Going
all
into
I'm
the
saying.
system.
That's all I'm saying.
And, I,
Mm-hmm.
and
Because
I've like, oh, I'm sorry. You go. You
no,
go.
you go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, we're talking during my last, couple of years, and I would say my 11th grade and 12th grade year, though, I like the young boy you're talking about, though. I had one in my high school, though, and like he skipped school whenever chance he got, and he was always causing problems with everybody in classroom, with everybody in the school and stuff like that. Though it got it got bad one time though. His mom came there and try to just say, he has to take his education more seriously and stuff like that, though. And he has about um she has about 5 children, and like all 5 of her boys act just the same, and it's just like she did her best, and then like the last time I like, well, he doesn't want to listen to me, well then fine then, and then so that was her mentality. Well, fine then, it's just like it's just gonna be is what it is, and it's just like, well, either these parents, they give up, or they just say it is what it is. If my kid doesn't want to be here, doesn't want to get education, doesn't want to apply themselves, it just is what it is. So
Yeah,
is that even good parenting within itself? I guess. I don't know.
it's so unfortunate because I know, like, if I were to put myself in that situation, okay, probably a single mother, probably have multiple children, and then you're trying to make money, you might have to work. So it's like, how do you manage, right? How do you manage all these children and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing? Pretty much you're going to, like you said, give up and be like, well, he just don't want to do it, so I can't make him do it. But that's why I say a woman can't raise a man. A woman can't raise a man. I mean, she just cannot. He needs, and that's why I said we need to see more melanated men in the schools, because that's what they need. They need a melanated male's presence. And I think that would cause them to react differently. They're not going to respect a woman, a female teacher, because they're seeing that female teacher like their mother, like an authority figure. And at home, they might be battling it out with the mother. That mother might be just mouthing off. You need to do this. You need to do that. I'm sick of you. You just like your daddy. You never know what's going on at the house. So by the time they get into school, they're zoned out. They're tuned out. Like, I don't want to be here. Stuff like that, man. And all of this is because, like I said, listen to the environment, listen to the music, the videos, social media, everything, the whole lifestyle of how people are coming up and raising their children now. Like, and they think it's a joke. People think it's a game, they think that none of this stuff has an impact, but it does. Every little thing has an impact on these children, the mindset and everything.
And our enemies are counting on that, though. They're specifically making a system to because I think the people that was born 1960 or 1970, their time is like going to be almost up very, very soon. Not very, very soon, but like in the future, basically. And this was going to belong to my generation and those who are younger than me. And then so what about the big percentage who's not reading, not writing, not trying to get their education, not trying to better their lives? Though the system is counting on that, though, so that they could just lock every last one of us up and feed the beast system. Okay, that's what they're counted on though, because there's the
Uh-huh.
jail system is actually slavery too. All the
Oh
stuff
yeah.
you buy at IKEA is made in prison. So
You
like
know
there's so they
what?
need more slaves.
IKEA. I didn't know that.
Oh yes, all the stuff that you buy from at IKEA, the furniture store, majority, almost everything. Sometimes though, they is made in prison. Is made in prison 9 times out of 10 though, and sometimes they work for little to no money. All right, so when they incarcerate these young black men, they'll actually have a member who was in jail for 5 years though, and he told us 2 years ago, as a matter of fact, of my time in there, though, y'all, though, why do y'all don't see me going to IKEA or all these other furniture stores, though? I have bad experience with them because I made so much of their furniture. I made so much of the wood stuff that you guys buy from their stores. So like, and they do that sometimes against my will, and like, and then they make me sign stuff to say if I tell anybody about what's going on, they'll make my life harder in here, and I didn't want to bite the hand that feeds me, so I just went along with it and stuff like that, though. So that's going on in the prisons, though. So they want to lock y'all up, lock all y'all niggas up, and have y'all feed the beast system and make furnitures and makes um uh tables for IKEA and furniture for these furniture stores. So think about it. It's a bigger work at play in here with the incarceration rate.
So yeah. I did hear that in prison is they literally treat them like slaves. And I think there's some type of stipulation that they can do it or something, but I didn't know they were making furniture. The only thing I heard about is that they were making license plates for the DMV. Now I heard about that.
That's a gigantic. You heard it here from here, folks. So that is a gigantic front. A family member of mine, so I'm not going to give out their name or anything, though. But he confirmed while he was in there, though, it wasn't just license plates, furnitures, table, drawers, and
What?
chairs. He made all that stuff for little to no money.
Oh my.
By the time he didn't even care about the money, he was just a personal slave for them at one point.
So IKEA is using slave labor from jail. Let me look this up. What? I didn't know that.
You probably ain't gonna even find it online though. This is what
Probably not.
you really is not gonna find it online. This is what my cousin. I don't, and he is not no liar, and I believe him 100%. You is not gonna find that online.
Oh, wait a minute. CNN.com, this was November 18th, 2022, says IKEA suppliers allegedly used Belarus prisoners under forced labor conditions. Report says. Where's Belarus? Where's that? IKEA furniture was allegedly produced by prisoners in Belarus penal colonies under forced labor conditions, according to a new report. Oh, this is in France by the French nonprofit investigative journalism network Disclose. Disclose alleges that at least 10 of IKEA's subcontractors in Belarus had ties with penal colonies over the past 10 years, according to accounting records and witness interviews, including with former detainees. These are forced labor camps that are particularly brutal, known for practicing torture as well as food and healthcare deprivation, the exact opposite of the values flaunted by the Swedish firm, Disclose said in its report. So if they're doing that there, and if IKEA is doing that there, then I'm pretty sure they're doing it in America. I'm
Oh,
trying to see if I can find another article about it.
that is just terrible.
Oh, here's one from East Germany. Yeah, so they're doing it everywhere. Oh, I did not know that. I had no, because I know that Wayfair had a thing going on too, and that was due to child trafficking. These, so furniture stores, man, I didn't even know that. So you got to be careful what furniture store you shop in because you don't even know if you are funding either child trafficking or forced labor from the prisoners. Like that's crazy.
That's what they had my cousin do while he was in there, and I believe him. And like little, we had this conversation. I want to say maybe 2, almost 3 years back when he had first got out. Though I think like we was gonna get some new stuff for for my apartment at the time, and then like he was telling me, if anything, don't get nothing from IKEA. Don't have me go over there. I have bad experience. And I was like, what do you mean you have bad experience though? Because like he came open though, because I thought they just had him made, license plates up in there though. But he told me I did more stuff though, and he's seen the IKEA logos for all the tables, for all the furnitures he had to make and stuff like that. And he would have never thought that IKEA would have any ties to
Mm.
the prison work release or whatever it's called though. So like they're profiting off of the incarcerated people up in there though. Hopefully I'm even being safe talking about this because I don't want to get your channel demonetized because
No,
they be
you're
they be lurking. They be lurking.
you are fine because my channel's not even monetized. You're good. But so, all right, because in IKEA, now I haven't bought any furniture out of IKEA, thank goodness. But they do have furniture that is made from Germany because I've seen it in there based on the name and the titles of it. So they probably got furniture coming in from all over the world in IKEA. So they're doing this probably like everywhere. This is probably a multinational situation with IKEA. I had no idea they were doing that. That's crazy.
But you see the news will never go in or like do investigations and tell people what's really going on in those regards. So that is just too much of a big topic to wake Americans up.
No, so basically what that's telling me is that a lot of these companies, they have some type of contractual agreement with the prison system. They have
Yes,
to.
they
So
have to.
they got to be paying these prisons for this forced labor. Cuz how else are they making these prisoners work? They must be getting paid to do this. The prisons. That's what I'm thinking. That
So slavery never was, a thing no more. They just, had to rebrand it into something new.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know for a fact that slavery goes on in the prison system, and I definitely heard about it, a while ago, but I had no idea that IKEA was involved in that. Mm,
They
mm-mm.
had to just rebrand it. And but like if that makes me wonder about all these other companies like SC Johnson's and like all these filming corporations that be selling these stuff to us though. Makes me wonder how clean they really are though. We don't really know how clean a lot of these corporations we just buy cups and and TVs from. How clean they really are. Is
Right.
it legit?
We don't know. Oh my goodness. But I'm pretty sure the more we talk, we could just go on and on. But we have been on here for 2.5 hours. And I thank you so much for joining. I have enjoyed you, Knowledge Seeker.
Shoot, yeah, it is getting late though. I think I should lay down right now, get my energy because I gotta move some stuff tomorrow though. Like the time has went by so fast though. This happens when you're talking though. But thank you so much for having me on here though. And like, there's no rush on F your Feelings Friday. Take as much time as you need in these next days or weeks in this new year though. So enjoy the
Thank
rest of the
you.
evening. So I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm signing off, and thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, give Knowledge Seeker a hand. We enjoyed you. All right, you have a good rest of your week, Knowledge Seeker. All right, and everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have enjoyed this content, please like, share, or subscribe. If you want to donate, Cash App BGAB Clothing. Shout out to FYO Feelings. We got the FYO Feelings hoodie shirt on today. Um, no, we didn't have FYO Feelings Friday last night, but we're having it right here, right now. Heute ist Samstag. Today is Saturday, you all. That's how we say it in German. I think I will also incorporate on this channel. I'll be teaching some German as well because I want to have a diverse channel. I don't want to just have a channel geared to strictly just entertainment, celebrity gossip, and all of that. You all know how I feel about that. I really originally started this channel just talking about personal life experience, spirituality, stuff like that. I then geared off into politics, which a lot of people seem to gravitate towards that. But now I think what I'm going to be doing is just exploring, and whoever is meant to migrate towards me will, and whoever is not meant to be here won't be. So it's just simple as that. But anyway, you all, we are signing out. And as always, I want to say continue to walk in your divinity. All right. You all stay blessed until next time. And I'll talk to y'all later. All right. We're going to play the outro for y'all. What we're going to play today. What we gonna play today? What we gonna play today? It's time for the percolator. It's time for the. Let me stop, y'all. All right, y'all. Signing out.